Oh, man. So this is not the start. This is us getting warmed up. But you guys know anything about John Fetterman and Dr. Oz? This will not be in the podcast, I swear to God.
No idea.
All right. Dr. Oz is running for Senate, dude. I watched a video of their debate. Fetterman had a stroke recently, and they put him up on the debate stage, and he had trouble with some words, bro. It was like the intro. He was like, and he's who I want to win. It's Pennsylvania. I don't want Dr. Oz to win. He's a Trump guy. But anyway, we'll start all this shit over. Starting the podcast fresh. We don't do that shit, dude. Not here. Welcome back to another episode. Yeah, man. We're here. We got a guest. Guest Wednesday, I guess, is what it's turned into. But this is not someone who's new. This is the first guest we had. Our most consistent guest, even though it's been a while.
It's been a bit.
I think you've been on 2 times.
Yeah, I think so. That's right.
Okay, we've never had anybody on 3 times. We've never had anybody on 2 times other than you. So here we are.
Big stuff.
Return to the show, all the way from Ireland. The only top Oklahoma City Thunder top shot collector. I know. You're going to tell me that you're not anymore. Somebody passed you, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? In my book, you're still number 1.
Fair enough. No, I appreciate it. But I'm not. Yeah, you're right. But that's okay. We'll leave that off for a bit.
Yo, man, those people got different pockets. Who cares, dude?
They changed the whole game. They just dumped it on its head.
Yeah, dude. I saw that they started doing top shot team top collectors officially versus like, but previously it was like an unofficial collector score. That's what you were ranking in, and they went official, and it was just all of a sudden like Royce Young started just pouring all his money into it, and he took over the spot.
It's all about how much you spend now. But I'm still up there. Like, I'm playing the game still, just keeping myself in there because I think it's just in my blood. You guys know yourselves that I actually have a box of signature rookies on my desk. Like, I can't just give up my collector's interest, and so this is the way to collect these days, so why not? But
since we're talking about signature rookies, I showed Dave this recently, but there you go. That's a Derek Jeter rookie card, autographed. Yeah,
yes,
I got that one from somebody who doesn't know he gave it to me, so I'll just leave it at that right now.
Would that be your grandfather?
It would be my grandfather. He's giving me a bunch of trash. And the funny thing was, since I know he's not listening, right? He had a bunch of stuff that he was going to give me, but it was worthless, right? And I didn't want. Like, I shouldn't even say it, but like these like plates that were going to take up a ton of space. I'm like, I don't want that plates, right? But then he gave me this small box of stuff that he thought was worthless, that was extremely valuable and worth more than all those other things that he was concerned might have a little bit of value. It was hilarious. I got out of there with the only good stuff because not just one of these, but 2 of these autographed Jeter cards and something that's worth more than that. But I won't tell you guys right now because you guys, they're going to be like,
No, dude, you already brought it up, man. You got to finish the sentence. It's a layup. What is going on?
I can't. We'll talk about it later.
it's
Man, you're such a teaser, dude.
Well, this has almost no value, but I thought it was cool. It's an old flip card, so it's got Ken Griffey on the front and Ken Griffey Sr. on the back.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, shit, I remember those.
Let's talk about it, bro. What is the Top Shot flip card, first generation Top Shot father-son flip card going to look like, bro? It's going to be LeBron.
Oh, man, I think they're channeling already for it to be the Currys. I think Steph. I mean, they might even make it 3.
You think it's going to be before that? Okay.
What do you mean? When
you think it's going to be before LeBron and his son get to the league together? You think it's going to be?
Oh yeah, I think they're. I don't know why, but we'll see. I just see some interest in Steph, and Steph's kind of that name, and he grew up on the court, man. Like I know the LeBron's kid did too, but going back, you understand he's one of the best teammates in the NBA. Like it's not my favorite player. He's hurt us a few times, such as life, but I can't deny the way he is as a teammate. Like. He clearly understands how to bring young guys into the system. He understands how to work with the team. Like he does things that were taught as fundamentals at such a young age all the way through, and he does them so right. And like you can't deny that that's because he's been in the NBA since he was a kid.
Wow. Okay. So while we're on his dick, do you want to keep talking about something else?
No.
Keep
Okay.
rubbing that in, baby.
No,
So
so I think
Did you see? Go ahead.
I think they're trying to channel for that. I think he's an ideal one. Now I'm off of it. We'll
All
move
right,
on
but did
now.
you see Steph miss his first free throw of the year? Okay, you got to watch this highlight. I don't have it pulled up, but it's funny because like they're talking about it, and Kevin Harlan, as he's getting ready to release the free throw, says he hasn't missed one all year, right? And then Reggie Miller was like, no, right? And Candace Parker was like, why'd you do it? And he missed it, like rung out, and Steph turned over and pointed at him and said, you did that. And it was so funny. And so you got to watch that one, dude. And then also in the game, dude, Clay got thrown out. First time he gets thrown out at all of anything.
Okay, I'll go watch that.
I think maybe he got thrown out when he was young, but he got thrown out because he was going at it with Booker. And Malloy, I think his name is Kevin Malloy, but the ref, he gave him a technical, and then, dude, you got to watch it. It's classic Clay because, you know, like Clay is like, don't talk to me. You can't. Like, he's just like, he talks to himself, but talks to people.
He's
like,
too cool for everybody.
It's hilarious because he gets himself thrown out by acting like that. And it's the greatest thing because he's just like, no. And he's always doing it to Booker. And Booker's like, and then he walks off and he's like doing like this to the bench. Like, just wait till it's time. And they were like, this is not a regular season game to these two teams. It's most excellent. Everybody should check it out. Dave, what's up?
And I was gonna say is look at what Draymond Green did last night too.
What do you do? I didn't see this shit, bro.
Man, he it was let's see, Jock Landell
Yeah.
and one of their other players basically driving to the hole, and Draymond Green pushed Jock right into the other player, like wiped him out completely. I mean, obviously, if you're a 7-footer going into somebody, you're gonna hurt him.
Right.
He's just so fucking dirty, bro. He does all these little things that really could hurt somebody, and eventually he's going to hurt somebody, and the NBA is going to be like, oh, well, we'll go ahead and suspend him for a little bit. But, man, I'm so sick and tired of his antics. He needs to go fucking just be done. Like, NBA needs to suspend him for a significant amount of time because at this point, he thinks he can get away with anything.
He can't.
He's like Kanye West right now.
Can.
Yee! And here's the thing, though.
There's no
Who cares?
surprise there.
Like, go ahead, John. You go.
No, I was just saying. I mean, I get what you're saying, Dave, but I'm not like none of us are surprised. This is the
Right.
same.
No,
Draymond.
it's just it's at a new level.
Remember Ron
Yeah,
Artest? You know, like, same thing.
Until he punches a fan, we can't expect him to actually do anything.
That's what
crazy.
everybody says. But it's like, he's already punching teammates. Like, why does the guy be a fan? Like, he's doing this shit. Like, in
you
the
think
end.
he chokes her out?
No, you know why? Because
It's happened there before.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, like, what if he had
Golden
punched?
State, baby.
What if he did choke him out, dude? Like, would they suspend him?
No, they probably suspend Kerr, bro.
Yeah, they'd be like, you shouldn't have said that to him.
Kerr would probably come out and talk about how that stuff happens inside locker rooms, and we all just need to back out of the locker room and let them deal with it internally. Like,
Absolutely, you know they would, dude. So
Kerr himself would do it. He'd get choked out, be fucking bruise marks on his neck, telling everybody to stop talking about it. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing. We expect antics from this. I mean, but hey, it's the cost of championships with Draymond being one of the cores of that team. But shit, even when like Kerr was winning championships with Jordan, he was getting punched out. But whatever, Let's talk a little bit about this Thunder game that we got pulled up. Sitting here, we're staring at this first possession. I don't think it's the first possession. If you look at the time, it looks like the third or fourth possession, bro. We got shit to talk about. So the Thunder are off. They get their first win of the year. All right. And fortunately for everybody, while we talk about this game, we're just going to play all of our made baskets in the background for you to enjoy. So why don't you tell me what was the most surprising thing to you about the game when you look at the stats? And by the way, do not say Tre Mann because I already saying Tre Mann.
Yo, you mind muting that?
Gotcha, man. No problem right now.
Roger, man.
Great defense from behind.
for me, it was the length of Shea's stat line. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like it keeps going to the right, bro. It's like every stat on the sheet there's something to look at. 3 steals and 3 blocks, like, come on. And he's our best offensive player, and he's showing that he can be one of our best defensive players, if not our best. And his length says he can be, but We just need to see him put in the effort. I think he's doing it this year.
Dude, what do you think about Tre Mann, dude? You said something I thought was interesting.
Why you said I couldn't say Tre Mann? That was my first. Like,
I know. But Dave said something like in message, getting ready for this. He said that we need to readjust Tre Mann's height.
Fuck yeah, dude. Listen, we've been talking about Tre Mann and what he can do for a while. And watching last night, and here's the thing about Tre Mann is that he doesn't need to just hit threes.
Yeah.
He scores from all levels of the court.
And Wiggins, dude.
I think that's the greatest thing, too. And then if you look at the other thing about it, too, I get so pissed about this. When you look at Tre Mann on ESPN and his height, it says he's 6'3".
Yeah, dude.
Right?
I keep getting him confused with Jang because of the height.
There's no way he's not 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah.
If not taller.
I mean, he's a long guard, so he's coming across longer anyway.
He's scary, bro.
I think he's at least 6'5", like, to me, because he's not 6'3". But
Aaron Wiggins is 6'5", and he's bigger than Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah, Wiggins is 6'6", I thought. To me, Wiggins strikes me as a 6'6" height. Maybe, he's got a shorter neck or something like that, but when you go wingspan and stuff, and then you look at Tre Mann, and yeah, absolutely, dude. With Tre Mann, we're looking at someone who's got to be at least 6'6". There's just no way around it. And he might, I don't want to say it, but he might be like 6'8", and we don't know.
It's just crazy that they have.
Is he as tall as Kenny? He's taller than Kenny Hustle. Like, and in some of these games, we would have Poku throw the ball to, like, I don't know, like Baisley, who then would find Jang underneath the basket, like bam, bam, bam. Faster than I can say it, because I can't even say their names very smoothly. But here we are, like, looking at these possessions, and it's just like,
I don't think he's. What is he? He can't be 6'6".
Look at.
How many times taller than 6'6"?
I watched
Tre Mann.
I watched
Tre Mann.
Yeah, I watch it, dude. Keep watching, dude. You'll change your mind in a minute.
Tre Mann on multiple occasions makes some crazy buckets, right?
Yeah,
layups that are just insane.
Yeah,
and you can obviously see Kawhi in that gray suit right behind, right?
Yeah.
I watched Kawhi's motion on some of what he happened with Tre Mann, and you can tell an emotionless person, dude, got excited about Tre Mann's ability.
You think so?
Dude, oh my God. Yeah, he was like, oh.
Right. So I think
that's the thing about it.
I think the thing that's most impressive to me as a second-year player is last year Tre would settle a lot for, he kind of not get anywhere on his first attempt in a dribble, and he would settle into it and just take a shot. And he's coming to the second year, and he's adopted the drive-first mentality. And he only takes threes if he's left open and the offense falls into it and it's time to take it. He took 8 last night, made 2, which isn't necessarily great, but at the same time, he had 8 shots within the offense that were the right shots from everything I've seen and can tell. Like, he wasn't forcing threes, and the majority of his highlights are direct drives to the basket and him just beating people off the step, him being fat, the first one down the break, him throwing, I saw a triple crossover last night that just put the guy on his heels, and then on top of that, he was the fastest person to the step. He was so quick last night. I don't know.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead. You'll finish.
Our offense, right, is designed around people like Shea and Tre, because you got a penetration dish followed by a penetration score.
That's what I was going to say. Is he looks more like Shea?
It's insane because
approach.
These two guys together. If you throw Josh Giddey in the point guard role, right? These two guys together in the course of a game are going to get. I mean, we talk about averaging 20 points a game, right? That's a big thing to do in the NBA. Not a lot of guys can do it, but you see how Tre Mann played last night next to Shea, and you're like, oh yeah, this could definitely happen. This could definitely happen, and not just that, but he's not like he's a step behind on defense. Tre Mann can play defense with the best of them, so you've got a really great top of the line guard. That is. What? How old is he, man? Like 22, 21?
I don't know, dude. I don't have my phone right in front of me. Otherwise, I'd give you a quick answer. But, yeah, dude, last year I think he was 21. So, 21. There we go. And man, skill level has improved so drastically. And that stat line, like what you were saying, John, like 2 of 8 from 3. What we are used to with Tre is if he's going to have a good game, it's because he shoots 6 for 8 from 3 or something like that, right? And then you're looking at like, okay, so he didn't particularly shoot well from 3. Well, he didn't shoot well from 3, but let's say he shot 6 for 8 on top of what the other things he did. Well, now we're talking about just about a 40-point game. And on top of that, if his shot is falling, the other stuff will start falling even more for him because that creates space. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. This is somebody that we're looking at and be like, we could be counting his 40-point games sooner than we thought.
Yeah, I think I this whole season since the start of it, I've just been really impressed. And like I said, the buy-in is really important. And that's my favorite thing about this Thunder team. There's not a single player getting burned right now that doesn't buy into this system. And once you get everybody bought into one system, the system can then take over the game. And like Tre's just playing in the system. He's doing exactly what he's told. He's told to drive first if he can and take an open shot when it's there. Like that's all you can expect from like a player in his shoes. But at the same time, that's one of the hardest things to do. Like just actually become the player that does exactly what you're asked to do. It's not always
right, especially when your job is to get to the basket first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and when his tendency is to really rely on that step back and say like, okay, you got that tool, just don't pull it out until the shot clock is 4 seconds, right? That way you can use it anytime you want. Whereas like if you pull it out and you start busting it out on people with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, they're going to start playing it to take it away. And you got to lull him into a bit of a sense of self-confidence because he doesn't get a lot of lift on his shot from the perimeter, even though he's tall. I paused it. I'm going to unpause it, but I just wanted everybody to notice that this is where the whole run happens. And then from there, we're just biting our nails, hoping this team can hang on.
21-0 run. Yeah. And it took us like, 7 minutes to complete the run?
It was crazy. I was holding my son, trying to get him to watch the game. He keeps handing me books. I'm watching. I look up, we're up by 20. I'm like, I guess I saw every basket, but it didn't really occur to me that at the same time the Clippers weren't scoring, right? Yeah. Like it was a great run, but it was like it felt like we should have been up by 12, but it was like our defense was sparking the entire run, and that's why we went on the beautiful run. It was great, and this is the year he's going to fall in love with basketball. He lights up when the games are on. He's 1 year old, and I feel like we're bonding over this game. It's great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude. It's what we all did growing up too, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
I watched the Baller Vision with Matt Barnes and Paul Pierce.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of liked it. I mean, those guys just were on the Clippers' dick pretty much all game until the third quarter.
Aren't they Clipper announcers, though?
What's that?
Are they Clipper announcers, or what are they?
No. It's just the new Baller Vision. So basically, ex-NBA players go, teams that they used to play for, and they get on there and they talk about it. It's pretty cool.
So
I like it.
I mean, since they were the Clippers guys, right? So they're talking about Clippers.
Yeah, because Paul Pierce played for the Clippers for 1 or 2 years, I forget, and then Matt Barnes played as well.
I didn't know he played for the Clippers, but I know he's from LA and he's got a lot of love out there. So
yeah, so it was kind of cool to see it. Yeah, the Poku. I love the fact. I love the fact how Poku gets the hole, but anyways, it was really interesting because here you go.
This is the bucket.
We talked about hustle plays, right, man?
Yeah, deep three, end of the third quarter. Man, we weren't going to give up that lead, bro, by Shea. And there was the 2 offensive rebounds before that. Dude, what a beautiful thing. It looked like we drew it up, except for we missed 2 shots prior to that.
Yeah. Dude, we talked about hustle plays last podcast. We spent some time explaining stuff.
Yeah.
And this game in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, it came down to that. They couldn't catch their feet. They could not catch their feet. They could not stand up, and the waves kept on hitting them over and over and over again.
But, dude, they put on runs. They put on runs. We had to keep playing.
The way we drive, the way we whip the ball around the horn.
We never stopped playing to win.
Defense.
You know?
Yeah.
It never got to
I love it the best.
What?
People are like, this is a tank year for the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a tank year. Listen, if this was a tank year, would Shea be playing in this game today or last night? Hell no, he wouldn't. And he played last night. And we won the game. This would be a perfect situation for us to go 0-4.
I was shocked,
but that's not how this team is.
Like when they were doing the starting lineup, I was shocked Because I mean, I don't look at the stuff when people say like, "Oh, this is a starting lineup." I was shocked. I thought for sure this was an easy, just wait till the next Clippers game thing for him. But I'm so glad we came out and played. Oh my God, I gotta love that effort. We won every loose ball that mattered down the stretch.
First NBA player in history to have 33 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 2 for 2 on 3-pointers, 9 for 9 on free throws, and 11 for 22 on field goals, which is 50%. That's the type of player play the game that he had last night. When you're putting yourself in a record book with stats like this,
who did that?
You got to hang your head like you did something right.
That was
Shea.
Yeah, man.
How about Wiggins' game? I mean, God, there's so many good things. And look, this is the first one of the year, guys.
Feels so good.
Feels so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, man. It was crazy.
All right.
I can't wait to get back and watch it all again.
John, I know you thought of a story about the three of us. I know you did. All right, because John is our youngest brother, guys. And I think it's great, by the way, because we've got full beard, we've got baby beard, and then we've got just growing the beard, right? Kind of like life. Tell us the story, the three of us, that you pulled out of your hat that you were going to say.
I actually didn't pick a story about the three of us. I came equipped with stories about each of you in case I needed to return fire in any situation.
All right.
None of them, they're not that great. But
I got one.
I'm going to have to throw it in at any point because I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
I got one. All right. So John was in his senior year of high school. He was 17, just signed the contract to go to the, basic training for the Army. And Mark, John, and I, we decided to go fishing. And we went out and we went fishing, and it was John's last basketball game he was going to be playing. And we went out fishing, and we kind of lost track of time, and we didn't realize how far it was away, which ended up being like 4 or 5 hours away to the location. And we showed up at halftime to John's last game, and they were making a pretty big deal about John's last game. So it was kind of a cool event that we were able to take that time with ourselves. But we really fucked John over on his very last basketball game that he should have been able to play. Sorry about that, man.
No, you're good. I think it was actually 18. I think I probably gave about 0 fucks at the time because
That's right.
I was already back from basic training because I had finished my schooling early so I could join the Army, and then came back from basic and was deploying.
That's right. It was deploying
in March, and it was my last game unexpectedly because the deployment orders were earlier than they were supposed to be. So yeah, we went away, and I didn't remember getting there at halftime, but I also, again, don't know that I cared too much. I think in the moment I told myself I didn't care at least.
Where'd we go fishing?
It was really cute, by the way. It was the three of us in my one cab truck, right? Single cab truck. So John had bit sheet, and Mark was on the end there, and we got in some car trouble. And I couldn't go over 45 miles an hour on the highway, which is kind of crazy. So anyways,
man, I can't believe you remember all this because I can barely remember going fishing.
Yeah, I don't know how I remember it, but it's just one of those memories for me that,
I feel like I remember it because I remember Dave trying to get into waders that were from when we were younger.
They look like spandex.
I think we were just there for a little while, and I don't think there was. I mean, I think we fished, but I don't think it was like a super long thing. I think it was probably a pretty short trip.
Did we catch? Did we catch it?
I think we went back to the place you and I went the first
dam.
time we went down there, down to the dam. Yeah. And all the fish were on the non-fishing side of the dam, or the fence.
That shit happens sometimes. Yeah. If I know anything about Dave, he's throwing a line over the other side just to see if
no, I'm climbing the fence. That's why I roll, bro.
Not in those waders, you weren't.
I wasn't really moving in those.
Last time we went fishing,
those waders were like probably from when we were all like 16. We were definitely trying to reuse stuff.
I don't know.
Last time we went fishing, we were on this hill, and there's people like standing right below us, and Dave slipped, and he grabbed a tree, but like it's seriously, they looked up like they were like scared shitless because they thought they was gonna fall. It was one of those.
I would be scared shitless if a 260-pound dude fell on top of a hill too. You know,
Dude,
he's taking down bushes with him.
Any size person was coming down.
I still don't know what they set up like fishing right as the path went up the hill, like,
Yes.
and so we actually couldn't find the path. Like we went past them a couple of times until we realized like they were sitting on the path and you had to go around them. So it was their own damn fault. Let's just put it that way.
My favorite thing that we did, besides talking about Britney Spears when everybody would get too close to us on that trip, Mark, is that one time that we saw this guy trying to, he had got his waders, he said, and he wanted to fish, and he's like, hey, where's the fish at, as we're getting out? And we told him to go on the other side of the place and then crawl down. It's really hard to crawl down, but if you can get down on that ledge, you can go fishing, dude. Guarantee he fucked everybody's cast up, man. No doubt about it, going down that little hill, which is more like a 40-foot drop.
Dude, there's a lot of expended energy going the wrong direction when you're discovering a new area. That's for damn sure. So it's the hardest part is finding the fish. But that's not what we're here to talk about, bro.
No.
But we can talk about it as much as we want because it's our show, and we know everybody sees this nice fish on our profile. So of course they want to know about how we caught them, right?
We need to get John to get one of these nice fish too, so we can have a picture for him.
Yeah, dude, for real.
Yeah. At
Next
some
year,
point,
bro. Next year.
It'll happen eventually. Like, just a matter of working out the schedules and getting back. So,
Where are you? Like, tell everybody what city you're in right now, because I just said Ireland, and I kind of just because that's all I know.
so I'm in Limerick, which is on the west side. It's on the River Shannon, which is essentially a giant estuary from the Atlantic coast into halfway. It turns into a river just before Limerick, and up until that point, it's an estuary, and then it kind of runs up into the center of the island. But anyways, Limerick is the town, and lots of people know it as Stab City, so that's a fun one. But apparently, that's in the past history of Limerick, so I shouldn't even be saying that. We don't call it Stab City.
Now you're putting the karma back out there, dude.
No. We don't call it that. Just some people. That's what I get every time I tell anybody outside of Limerick in Ireland. They're always like, "Oh, Stab City." You're like, "No, not really. That's not how I say it." So, but yeah, just kind of. It's a cool spot. It's about an hour from the coast, in a couple of different directions, and then if God forbid I have to go to Dublin, it's about 2.5 hours from there. So it's not too bad. But
Nice.
Right on, man.
I don't like Dublin. I like Dublin, but I don't like getting to or out of Dublin. So
Yeah,
You play rugby, right, man?
I play a bit of tag.
Okay, all right.
And I've played a bit, and I'm currently being asked to play more, and I'm in debate. I'm not sure if I'm old enough or young enough to be starting a full contact sport.
You will break bones.
We have a lot of listeners from Australia and New Zealand, and so that's why I'm asking is because...
they're all going to be calling me a wanker and a bitch for not wanting to go play.
Listen,
but,
I got a question. What position you play?
I haven't played enough to really be like set into a position.
What's your
in
favorite
tag,
position?
you don't have a position. Yeah, it's different positions. I think I tend to be suggested as a forward because my size. So one of the bigger guys.
How big a boy are you?
Tackling.
Big Alvaro.
is, I tend to be a bit bigger than a lot of the backs are much smaller. Anyways,
Are we talking penis size or are we talking height again? I'm so confused right now. You just keep on talking about how big
Short
a
and
boy you are.
stubs. Short and stubs.
so
They all hang out together.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I'm pretty stoked for you. I think playing contact sports is great. There is a
Dave, you do not. There's no way in hell you would play contact sports right now.
Oh
dude.
fuck no. And no. My surgeries have taken me out
as
of
soon
all
as
contact
this is
sports.
over, Dave's gonna text me and be like, "Don't you dare start playing contact sports. You're gonna break yourself, bro."
Dude,
I don't.
There's
Dude, if you
nothing
want to
worse.
break yourself, by all means, do it however you want, dude.
listen. There is a difference between having a surgery after 30 and having a surgery before 30. Okay? It takes a whole lot longer to recover, and the same thing as when you turn 40, which I'm about to do in a little while. That's the problem with age, man. It fucks you up.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna have that next surgery and skip that process.
Oh man, dude. All right. go back to the game for a minute.
All right,
Guys,
dude, let's do it.
I want to talk about Tre Mann's stats because we didn't really get into Tre Mann's stats, and I think he's played phenomenal. Before we go into that, let's talk about the turnovers. The Thunder
Yeah,
had
dude.
5 turnovers, man.
Wow.
5 turnovers, guys. That's insane. Clippers had 18 turnovers. So we were plus 13 on that, guys. That's amazing. We had 12 steals and 8 blocks. Just unbelievable defense out there that we're watching. It was a team defense, right? But individual players make the team defense way better, and we saw that with Aaron Wiggins, Tre Mann, Shea, Dort, and JRE starting off the game. This was an insane defensive lineup. I loved it. I love what Coach D did here. We haven't had a same starting lineup since the start of the season. I like this, though, because JRE, Dort, Shea, Tre Mann, and Wiggins, they started the tone, and I like what they started.
Yeah,
John,
man.
you look like a miner with that hat, like that light right above your hat. You look
I
like you're
know,
about
I
to
just-
go work in the mines, dude.
I don't know what to do
Keep
about
it there. It's great.
I don't like
No,
it.
you have
What
a bright idea. It's about having a bright idea, man.
I never have bright ideas, Dave.
No,
It's
it
gone.
looks really good. It's like you have this light
It
bulb.
looks
you know,
really
it's-
good, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking
Like-
for. I really wanted to walk around today with a light bulb over my head. But when I move, look, there you go. It comes back just for you. I'm over here trying not to mess with my beard. That's what I do all the
I know.
time.
I mess
Oh
with
my
my beard
God.
all the
I
time.
know, but now I
It's
can
impossible.
see myself do it. And it's like, nope, don't do it.
I like to braid it during our show.
Oh, yeah?
Anyways,
Dave, so what's
but-
this about Giselle being single? Sorry, never mind. Go ahead, John. What were you saying about the game?
I keep wanting to talk about JRE. Like, obviously you guys have talked about him a few times, but I just keep. So I watched the Timberwolves stream on the second Timberwolves game. I watched it on both, I guess, but on the second one I watched it, I just prefer to hear what other people are saying. And they kept talking about JRE's screens, his just at his top of the post screens. They were saying that it's at a level that you don't really see in a young player like that. As a second year player, he can set them really well. And I started thinking about like that concept as I watched more and more of his screens, and he really he never misses by an inch. Like, he's right there, and he creates so many things. And then you start adding his skill sets that he clearly has. Like, he's obviously a capable shooter. He has times where he doesn't shoot great, and that's life, and that's being young and being a shooter in the NBA. But like, he can clearly hit a knockdown fade three, like from someone who just drops back after a screen when they roll that old Mike Muscala 3 ball. Like, that's an easy one for him. He goes to the corner, but then he's also clearly showing an ability to like hit a hard drive. Like, I don't have a specific play from last night, but just the level of effort that he has, he can fill in a lot of those things and be one of those role players. He may not have the height, but he's definitely strong enough. Anyways, I just going on a rant about him, but
no.
I definitely.
Let's talk about his stats from last night.
All
2
right.
points, 1 block, 3 steals, 9 rebounds, 3 of which were offensive. Right, 2 for 2 free throw line. I mean, he didn't have the stats necessarily, but he was +8 because of the way he plays defense, his screens he sets. I call it the hockey assist screen because now you get a stat for assisted screens for scoring, right? But he's so good at next level at recognizing where to be and all these other stuff. JRE is going to be a next level player.
Yeah.
And he's got to find his rhythm. Like, he's had a good game. He's had a couple of good games. But, like, for him to be at his best, he's catching and shooting that 3 with confidence. And we've seen him do it a bit. But basically, he has to be so within that flow of the game where, like, and he's not going out looking for it, right? He needs his teammates to basically send the ball to him when he's open, and he'll take that shot. And it kind of reminds me a lot of like Al Horford in his like the space he likes to get, how he's a pass first player in every way, and then as the shot clock is coming down, he'll go get his shot if that's what he needs to do. But I feel like with him, like the best thing we can do is just watch his progression as this season goes on, because like this is his starting point. Like the preseason, erase that didn't matter for him, right? So this is his starting point. Now, where will he be at the end of the season? And a lot of that will come because of the way that he moves the ball from side to side. Because if he can do that for coach, then coach will trust him more. He'll play him more, and then he'll find himself in more opportunities. But I think by the end, like, he's the starter. Like, I felt like that our team was best last year when he started because the way the ball moves. And then he came in the second half of the year, kind of a different player, right? He came in shooting a lot more threes, doing different things. So he finds himself a little bit more in that spot, but they're still trusting him more to run the offense through at the high post than like putting him on the wing like they did in the second half. So it's this hybrid version of what he did with both of those things. And when he gets comfortable in that, he should shoot 5 threes a game. He really should.
I mean, the NBA has a lot of three ball opportunities. You need every player to be able to take that three ball and
right,
be
but it's
willing
open for that pick and pop more so often than anybody else, I think, in the league, right?
And he reads what happens. Like he has a sense of where to go right away, and like Moose would do that really well in my opinion.
How many threes does Moose get in a game? You know, just wide open looks from SG alone is like 3, and I think when he plays, you know what I mean? It's such an easy shot for him to move into and step into, and when he's feeling it, man, it's just like give him the ball deeper and deeper and deeper. Sorry.
See, Moose has reinvented himself though, huh? Like he's completely now he's scoring and creating and just like playing at a high level even when he's not shooting well. Like last year, you know, Moose was a shooter and a body. Like this year, he seems to be attacking. He seems to be getting little jump shots, taking everything he's given and making it happen. And I don't think he shot great last night
he didn't,
behind the arc. But he
didn't shoot from behind the arc. He didn't shoot at all.
Well, and he hasn't found his rhythm. Like that's the same thing with JRE in that way. Like he'll shoot it if the shot clock is low, but you can tell if he's really found his rhythm, whether or not he shoots it early. Because if he shoots it early, it's because he's feeling hot.
Yeah.
But Mike Muscala, we weren't expecting him to score last night. That's not what we needed him. We needed him to do all the dirty things.
No, but those last 2 games that he had, you know, he put up double figures. So it's kind of like you see this bit of a trend.
That's what I'm saying. He's like actually putting up numbers despite not being a shooter.
He had a block, 2 assists, 5 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds, 4 for 5 from the field. To me, that right there in itself is exactly what you need sometimes from a big man. He went out there and played their big man, Zubaka, right? And he played him for half of the time Zubaka was on the floor. And I think it's important because you're seeing this all-out hustle play for Moose, and it's contagious because, again, he's like, I'm going to get 18 minutes tonight, and I'm going to go out there and play hard. And guess what? He's going to continue doing this. Yeah. And if he gets 18 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game, most of that time is going to come in that fourth quarter and even that third quarter. And that's what we need Mike to do. If that means he needs to step up and hit some threes, guess what? He'll do that. If we need an offensive board crasher, he'll do that. If we need somebody to step up and take a charge, we know we can get Moose to do that. So Moose is like another Swiss Army knife for us off the bench. Not every game is he going to be expected to put 15, 18 minutes out there, but when he is, you know exactly what he's going to give you because that's what a professional does.
I think he's one of those.
Go ahead. You go.
No.
You go.
I think he's one of those players that, depending on his timeline and everything, but if we start getting into the playoffs, that he puts up really big playoff games to the point where he ends up earning more and more time in the playoffs because he does what's right. He seems to kind of have that almost big brother role on the team, and he sets a good example, and he consistently delivers in those times. And if he catches hot, if he starts hitting every three he's doing, plus he's doing all the other stuff right, there's gonna be moments where you see him actually putting up big numbers in playoffs down the road for us if he sticks around and the timeline fits everything. So,
yeah, dude. And I don't know. I was gonna mention, like, if you guys ever watch like TED Talks, right? Like, I try not to too much, but like sometimes if you want to learn something or you want to feel like you might as well watch a TED Talks or something. But so I saw one recently though. It made me think a lot about what Sam Presti's doing with this team, where it was like for a while we used to look at like people who would like be specialists, like if they were like really talented in like the violin or like computer programming, we look at people who are specialists and we say like those were geniuses. But like it's kind of proven that people who are like lateral thinkers, people who have the ability to do multiple things and they aren't necessarily specialists, but kind of jack of all trades, those people handle adverse situations in the world far better, whereas specialists have trouble. I think a lot of ways what we're dealing with this team and why we saw players like Teo Maladon and Vit Krejci, although we really like those players, they're no longer on the team, is because like instead of being like we're looking at having specialists, we want our point guard to be a specialist and we want our shooting guard to be really good at shooting. We're looking at Presti and he's looking at building this team with players who aren't specialists, who they can fulfill a certain role, but they can shift into different roles, right? Every player is a positional chameleon. Right, yeah. Exactly. And it's intentional. And you look at a player like Tre Mann, it's like if you were telling him, we want you to be a specialist, year one when he came into the league, like they probably have done in the NBA since its inception, right? You have this skill set, so we're going to ask you to do these things. They would have capped him. And now we're looking at a player who is his game, even though it doesn't look anything like Shea's, if you look at the stats, like his ability to get downhill, get to the basket, kick the ball, and then knock down shots whenever he's open and the ball's in rotation, like that's where his game is the best. And you look at a player like Ousmane Dieng or J-Dub, right, who's hurt right now, those players have this ability, and on top of that, they also can defend at a high level. They can do multiple things, and that's what this team is built up of.
I mean, some of the great multi-positional players learned the second position once they got into the league out of necessity, out of filling the spot. But to get guys coming into the NBA who already understand how to play two positions and who are willing to develop at the way they are, like every player we're putting in our team, like I can't think of a single player we've kept that doesn't have the ability to play multiple positions. Like some might pinpoint Dort because he's small or shorter. He's definitely not small, and he definitely has the ability to play 4 or 5 inches taller than he actually is. And that creates his ability to cross over. But then the fact that you have the longest, I mean, we don't have the longest guards in the NBA. I'm sure somebody else could argue that. I don't know. But the length of our guards, every one of them, and they have the ability to rotate to numerous positions. I mean, some of these guys can play all 5 positions without hesitation. Yeah, they might get, Poku, he impressed me a lot this year. I know he's getting a lot of hate for some of his shooting numbers and splits, but honestly, I'm just kind of tired of all that talk. I just feel like people are missing what he's actually doing different this year, and the reason he's getting more time. And he's got a lot of confidence to gain, and he's going to, but he can play all 5 positions at any time. And the other day, he's showing the lack of strength at times when he's playing against Gobert and getting bodied around. But that's part of this NBA. But he's not backing away. And he's continuing to go at them. He's continuing to try to block them. He's continuing to go at them headstrong. So, I don't know, every position we're getting to the point where we have guys who can rotate through all of them no matter where we're at. And it makes our lineup really hard. We don't have a set, like we don't know who's coming in when or where they're going. It makes it hard as a fan to really know what to expect. But it's kind of interesting to me because I think it's intentional. I think there's a reason we're going to this. And I actually see the same concept happening in rugby over here, and I don't know what that is, why it's transitioning, but it seems like maybe sports are understanding that you need guys who can cross over and play different positions if you want to have guys who really can be invested on every game and available.
Especially with like an 82-game season, right? Because you might be out 3 point guards a night, and then you might be coming back and out 3 shooting guards. And especially when you get into these like center positions, or point guard position, it can create this team, nobody knows how to do that. And then, we'll do point guard by committee. Well, as soon as you do that, then you're out of your offense for the first 8 seconds of it, and you're starting later, and all these things start happening. So, yeah, and a guy like Aaron Wiggins is that perfect Swiss Army knife. Like, when he's playing his best, you don't know what that looks like. Like, it could be from the perimeter attacking the hole. It could be knocking down shots. It could just be getting loose balls and starting the transition and making the right pass, because whatever he's asked to do, he'll go out and do it and then some, right? And that's what we're looking at. Kenny Hustle. We didn't get to see Amarui tonight, but I haven't heard your thoughts yet. But I want to know what you think about him so far.
I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys knew much about him before the start of the season, the regular season.
No. I mean, not until the transaction happened, and then it was like, I read all the names of the players that we got from the Rockets, and I was like, okay. Oh, there's the guy I have no idea about. I bet that's the one that we're going to keep. I just was like, nothing.
Yeah, so that was my introduction too. I mean, he's strong and he's playing numerous positions already on both defense and offense. The fact that he can do defensively kind of what he is, I haven't seen like someone that kind of strong just like show up like this, like
Right.
unexpected. Like he's all of a sudden just getting burned for us, and he's bodying up the biggest guys we're playing and taking on some serious roles on defense, and he doesn't look afraid. Which that's hard to beat. He shot in rhythm really well. I think he hasn't shot a lot, but I've seen him take a couple of shots, and he just seems to settle right into it. So obviously want to see a lot more. But if this could be another situation where we just picked up someone who fits right into our system and our development concepts and can take a bigger and bigger role. I mean, in the end, we're gonna have a massive war for roster slots, but I think he could be right in there. By the time, I mean, what is he on a two-way, or are we actually fully signed with him?
Two-way at this point, but the best part is, like, don't you think we would have been able to use him last night? He wasn't suited up. He was in street clothes, so that could have probably been for any number of reasons. I don't know, but like this was the type of game he would have done excellent in, right? Like, because there was a lot of loose balls. There was a lot of times that he could put his body on somebody and make an impact, and the physicality, right? You were saying like he's sitting there playing Towns the other day, and Towns can't get around him. Like he's kind of like Charles Barkley in that way. Like he just has like this wide base, and he's gonna elevate straight up and down to go get the ball, and wherever he can push his base, which is pretty much anywhere he wants, unless you're putting two big players on him, he's gonna have an opportunity to get the loose ball on an offensive rebound. We see Kenny do a similar thing. But he's sitting there like watching and then timing, right? Go to where the ball is. He's always moving when everybody else gets stuck and their feet are in quicksand. And Amarui's just like, oh, you're going to box me out? Well, I'm still going to push you to where I want to go. I'm going to get the position just by pinning you,
Kenny's clever, but Kenny hustle, not Kenny jump out of the gym. Like, not Kenny fastest guy in the Kenny the Jet. Like he's not
right.
He's there because he hustles, and he is clever. When you don't have that all the natural athleticism that some of these guys have, and the ability to out jump people or be stronger than people. But I think Amaru he seems to be really like ready mentally for the NBA's game, and that says a lot. Like we have a lot of guys who have shown up in the last couple of years that they can start well or whatever, and they just don't end up really seeming like they're mentally ready, which is to be expected. Like it's a huge step. I think a lot of people underestimate what these guys like Poku are going through, but starting over in a new place, like all these different elements of it, to see someone come in and not really seem to be affected by that. And I don't know, how long has he been in the NBA? I don't know much about him.
I think this is his second year.
That's what I was thinking.
Like a similar thing to like Isaiah Roby, where he played a few games, and so it's not qualified as his rookie year.
Yeah.
But for most reasons, like you could basically say this is his rookie year. He was around the NBA team, and he did get some games. So like in baseball, right? They wouldn't qualify. It wouldn't have qualified as his rookie year because it wouldn't have been enough games, right? It would have just been a not rookie year. I think that's how it works. I'm gonna act like I don't know what I'm talking about and move forward now.
I definitely think he's got a lot of future, and I'd expect to see from him.
Well, one of the things that I saw last night with this team was our offensive rebounding. You guys been talking about it. Kenny Hustle, he had 4. Mike Muscala had 5. We had a bunch of guys with 3. That was Baisley, Wiggins, and Robinson all had 3. Tre Mann had 2, and SGA had 1. This is insane, guys. Like, we missed 26 threes last night. We shot 4 for 30. That's not good. That's only 13%. But 7 of those threes, we got offensive rebounds. Right?
Yeah.
So I can't get upset with that because we probably end up scoring 6 of those 7 buckets, So I look at these stats and I'm like, okay, like this is okay. Like understanding that we missed this insane amount of threes last night, but we made up with the offensive rebounds. We made up with it for the steals. We made it up for the defensive pressure on the turnovers. There's no reason that we should have won this game with only shooting 13% from three-point range. But you know why? It's the hustle plays that it comes down to. It's everything about hustle. It's the offensive rebounds. It's the charges. Tre Mann got 2 last night. He's another person that's in the top runnings for most charges in the NBA right now. It's insane how much these guys are giving their bodies on every single way down the court, whether it's on defense or offense, man. Hustle is everything.
That makes up for a lack of like ability to just go out there and overpower a teammate. Like the rules in the NBA, like them or not, give you a lot of advantage if you will play positions and move to spots when you see people going there and flop. Like I think it's ugly basketball when it's at its worst, but when it's at its best, like when it's Dort, Tre Mann, those guys going out there, Jay Will, we can't wait to see him out there drawing charges. Like it's different, but like the NBA has got to figure out what they're doing. But in the meantime, right, it gives an opportunity for a player who maybe can't jump out of the gym, right? But they can slide. They can slide. And if you can slide and you can stop yourself, well, maybe you can't even touch the net, but you can go out there and make a difference.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you can touch the net. Everybody can touch the net.
We're leading the NBA by almost 1 offensive charge more than anybody else. We've gotten 2.25 charges a game. The next team is Atlanta Hawks at 1.33. You're looking at screen assists and different things like that. We're still working at that as a team to get there. Loose balls, though, I love it. Loose balls. We've gotten 23 this year. That ranks us 6th in totals. Utah is number 1 with 29 loose balls. They have a lot of loose balls right now. They're playing well, though, so that's good for them. And I just, man, I get stoked because when you're looking at this team and you're looking at, like, again, the small things that they're doing right, it adds up to a lot. It adds up to 15, 20 extra points a game. And guess what? That loose ball effort last night, I think it was the difference in us getting beat and us losing last night, or us winning and us losing last night, because I think there's a 15, 16-point swing from what I saw the hustle plays came out to be, and that's a significant swing if we weren't doing whatever it takes to win games.
Yeah, the hustle plays have definitely been on point. I mean, every time I think about this team, I feel like they look at them and they just see them doing all the basics right. And I know, like, we can look and nitpick different things. Obviously, our shooting is going to come up the first thing with anybody you talk to. But, like, I don't feel like we're taking bad shots. I think we're taking in-system shots a lot of times. And I do think the NBA has changed, and there's a whole lot more opportunity for three-point shot than there ever used to be. And I think coaches are heavily going towards if you have an open shot, take it attitude. And I know we've got a lot of guys that are young, so that's going to mean that our shooting numbers are going to be down for a while. But I think if you look at hustle plays, screening, you look at the motion offense that we're running, everybody's constantly moving, the drive first attitude. They're just clearly well coached and buying into that coaching and that system. And when you get that and you put it together, it makes for really exciting basketball because you've got guys that are incredibly talented to do all the rest that you need done to make something out of a team like this. Like, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah, and it's been exciting, right? But the thing is, we've also lost most of our games so far. So there's no, like, denying that this is going to be a long experience. And there's also no denying that the Clippers didn't have Kawhi Leonard or Paul George out there. So, like, we weren't playing a team that was full strength. So, and then when you say, like, okay, maybe we still make that run in the third quarter, right? Even with those guys, which it's arguable, but whatever. How would we handle that push they made in the fourth? Pushes, right? Because they kept coming. They were, like, coming right? They didn't stop coming, right? And then we found ourselves in a spot where we had to make runs, even though we were up by 11, 12 points, right? Those runs were the key, because last year we weren't making those runs. We would get up in games. I mean, maybe not 26 or whatever, but we would build leads in games. And when a team would make a run, we would hand over the lead right? And then we'd be playing from behind for the rest of the game. This game, even though they weren't full strength, but we were able to put on a run. And I get why you might say, like, well, if they had those guys, it would be a different game. But what we talked about at the beginning was we stayed aggressive, right? We were playing like we were behind in the dive on the loose ball, dive on the ground for loose ball mentality, go for the offensive rebound mentality, draw charges throughout the game. Like, we were up by 11 and we were playing hungry. And that's something we've talked about a lot. You see it in football, you see it in every sport, right? You build a lead and you go into this play not to lose mentality. And once you do that, especially with in a sport with a shot clock, right? Like, you can't succeed if you're up by 12 with a 3-point shot and there's 3 minutes left and you just turn the ball over the rest of the game. You can't win. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe you could do it with a 30-point lead as long as you got a couple of stops or maybe like a 20. But with a 12-point lead, you have to stay aggressive. You have to get downhill like you were when you built that lead. And if you sit back and say, we're just going to burn the shot clock and then take a 3, well, we're going to get the result we had a lot of times last time. So we knew we'd have some games where we'd build a lead. But I personally thought they would come when we actually hit some threes. But we hit like 5 threes and we had a huge win. Crazy.
Yeah, and again, it just, to me, it shows you where this team is at. It shows you where their heart is at. You could be missing 2 or 3 players, but because we have the next man up mentality out there, it doesn't sting as a lot as other teams it would. Think about it. If another team lost their starting point guard, top 7 player, and like whoever else we've lost right now, they would be like, "Oh, man, we have
the top 7."
Yeah, oh yeah. Dude, J-Dub's special, man.
That's a bit underplaying him.
I understand it's underplaying him. I'm just saying, like, to me,
it's respectful to the rest of the team. I appreciate it, but he's definitely better than our top 7th player.
I'm saying if you look at their top 7 players in general,
dude, he's a beast.
And you look at who we have.
Where do you rank him, John? I gotta hear it.
Okay, yeah. Where do you rank him? Where do you put him?
What do I rank him now, or where do I rank him? I think he's gonna be
right now. Right now.
Right now. I watching the preseason alone, and then you bring in what he played 2 games so far. He just played 1. He just played that 1 game.
Yeah,
he didn't even play.
Yeah, he got hurt in that first game.
Maybe it was the third quarter, but I think it was the second quarter.
Yeah. Seen him in the preseason, and then he scored he hit 3. I think he scored 3 times in that game. He got hurt. I honestly think, as far as our scores, I think he might be our second or third best scorer. And at this stage, I can't see anybody who can score like him and play the defense like him. Not anybody, but out of the kind of mix in the bottom, out of that top 7 group. So I don't know. I think he's probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 at the lowest, just because his length, his ability. Obviously, he's super young, and that's kind of out on a limb, but. Everything I see from him, it just really impressed me. And I've watched a lot. I went back and watched, obviously, once he drafted him, a bunch of stuff online. It's all highlight stuff. So you think, okay, well, if we can see him and do it at the NBA level on a consistent basis. And then the preseason happened, and he looked like he was playing against college guys. He didn't look like he had taken a step up at all. He looked like he was just back where he belonged. And it was all noise for him, and that to me was shocking. And then the start of the game, that first NBA game, jitters, everything like that going on. He showed up. He went 100% in that game. Shot 3 shots, made 3 shots, but every shot he took was the right shot, and it was an earned shot, and he put himself in the position to score. But he doesn't seem ball dominant, so I don't know. I'm really hyped on him. I obviously need to see more, but I think. We got a steal of a draft pick with him, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah,
Even if we had traded up to get him, with what he's shown already, is whoa. So, obviously, he's on some good medication while he's sitting there on the bench, sitting there in some cool shades. He's got the coolest earring in the NBA right now. No doubt about that.
Does he?
I'm just Jesus, dude. Like, whatever he's on, I want a bottle of that, dude. Because like, he was chilling, man. It was nice.
J-Dub, share with us, buddy. Share with us.
For sure, dude. Holy cow. Cool guy in the locker room, dude. I wonder if he took the sunglasses off in the locker room when Coach was talking. Because if he didn't, then he was like, nobody look at me right now.
Is he coming back with a mask probably now?
That's what I've heard. Mask.
Yeah. So when he comes back, like the whole NBA is gonna know about him, strictly from him wearing a mask, because he's about to show everybody
the mask
of a player how he is.
Assassin.
Could you imagine having to like? Because I mean, yeah, he played a little bit, but like actually having to learn how to play in the NBA in a mask. Because I mean, he really didn't get an education in that one game. It's gonna take him 40 games to really feel like. And that thing would be so bulky and sweaty. You would lose. I mean, no matter what they did, you would lose a bit of your peripheral vision, right?
I honestly don't think he's going to show any impact. I think he's just going to be absolutely wicked with it on, and he's going to
remember Rip Hamilton, right?
Hype.
Remember him? He broke his face early in his career, somehow nose or something. They put a mask on him, and then they were like, "You can take the mask off." So he took it off, I think, and he thought he shot better with it on, so he wore it the rest of his career. Like,
yeah.
you can call one of those, bro.
I mean, we don't need J-Dub to be like that, but I think that he's going to come right back in. He's going to phase right into it when he comes back, and I don't know. I'm excited to see it. I think he'll, by the end of the year, be definitely talking about starting him. So,
hey, some of my favorite memories were Russ's mask games. Right, I always love to talk about those. So. You know, great for the kids to get to watch, you know, this happen again. A masked player go out there and just, I mean, I think here's the thing about him. Like, it's so hard to predict what he's going to do. But the one thing I feel really, really confident in predicting about J-Dub is that he makes winning plays. He's out there doing the right thing at the right time. And it's just like, yeah, he can do all those things. But most importantly, he understands what, as a team, we're trying to accomplish, what he's doing fits into it, and then how to be a star in his role. Oh, and by the way, he's, you know, we got all this from a very limited amount, but like, it was because we didn't know who he was in college, right? So we've gone back, we've studied the film, and then we're like you said, oh, well, he's playing this game like he played it in college. And if that's the case, well, watch the fuck out.
I mean, it's what our scouts, our team has done repeatedly with their draft picks. They're picking players who are mentally at a place where they're ready. And then, you know, our lower draft picks, they're going to develop them. And some of these other guys that they're getting, they plan on developing. But I think there's a lot to be said about the guys coming in NBA ready mentally and not afraid of it.
Yeah, even Jang, who's obviously, you know, probably got the longest way to go of anybody on the team from where he's going to be at his peak, right? Yeah. Like, he's coming in confidently. He's finding his shot and rhythm. They're not falling down, but in the end,
lost. That's a huge.
He doesn't look lost.
And well, it's one of the things I said last podcast was he's driving to the hole and he's not afraid to push the ball back out, reset instead of, you know, going for a bad layup. And we saw that again last night. I mean, he drove to the hole a couple times and he reset instead of forcing that shot. And even Michael Cage said something about it. He's like, that shows you the maturity of the player, is recognizing that if I go up against this guy, it's not going to great shot. I've got to do a better job at maybe another dribble towards that basket, whatever it is, man. I'm telling you, Osman Jang understands the game and understands not to force it, and that's something you can't teach.
Yeah. And he's also found a knack for being in the right spot at the right time, and because of his length, he's getting open in the right positions, and from that, he's, you know, building his confidence, and then he's stepping back and shooting threes. And I get it; they're missing, but each one I've noticed, he's kind of gotten a little bit more comfortable. It's kind of like, I don't know, like me. I haven't picked up a ball in a while. At least I have, but I mean, I haven't shot at a court in a while, right? The first shot, the muscles are gonna, like, the tendons, everything is gonna be like tight, and I wouldn't even want to go through the motion because it would be so ugly, right? But here's my point. By 3 or 4, it gets loosened up. I can't imagine being in an arena, right? And your first shot, you know, in front of the arena, how tight your muscles would feel. And as he like learns how to relax and shoot these within rhythm, well, guess what? They're going to start closing out on him. And if they start closing out on him, he's so creative once he gets past his man. He really is. He has no rush about him. he looks at the defense as if like you just can kind of see him breaking down and recognizing that, like, okay, when you're guarded by somebody, it's always personal. But once you get past your man, it's no longer personal. It's a chess match, right? And you see him thinking it. He's like, I'm not in a rush. I've excelled at the first step, which is, create space. Now the second step is kick the ball, right? You said sometimes it's kick it out. When I was playing, one of the worst things I could do would be like get to the basket and try to kick it out. I don't know why, but it was like teams could always see that I would kind of get scared when I picked it up in like that dunker spot, as they call, right? And I'm like looking for a guard, right? And I'm looking for somebody to throw the ball to, and that's when they get the most deflections. They get their hands up on the ball and stuff like that. Jeng, it's like the opposite, right? Like he goes in and he picks up the ball and he's like looking at it and he still feels like he has the advantage. And guess what?
Freakishly tall.
Yeah, because he's a good passer and he has the length. He doesn't need to be like bailed out. It wasn't like he needs somebody to run to him and get the ball. He needs somebody to cut to the hoop. He needs to go to the right spot, and he will lead you with a pass. And he's not giddy, but in that way, he's thinking like a chess match, like giddy, which is go to the open spot and I'll lead you the ball. And I'm rambling, but we talk a lot about the NBL. We talk a lot about AFL, Australian football, right? And that's something they say, like move to the open spot, right? It's easier to find somebody in space than it is defended, right? So go to the open spot, and if you're good at it, then the player will lead you, and they'll know, I can lead that player in that spot, as long as we're all on the same page, right? It's the worst when somebody starts cutting one way and they don't finish the cut and the player leads them. That's when everybody like turns and looks at it and is like, there was nobody within 5 feet, and they're like, what happened? Miscommunication. So as long as everybody's on the same page and they go away from the ball to the open spots, it works.
Yep.
You're right. You're absolutely right, man. And we saw it last night with Shea. He would take one dribble towards the bucket and take a couple side dribbles, and Kenny Hustle or JRE would flush to the hole, and you would get him. I think JRE wasn't JRE, it was Mike who did it a lot with last night. Tre Mann a couple times last night. It's really powerful when you see guys directing the traffic like that. It's not every NBA player. You see John Morant do it. You see Luka do it. You see these top echelon of players that they can do that. And LeBron James is amazing at it. You come up and set up a fake screen or a screen assist, and you don't know what's going to happen with these guys. And that's what makes it so powerful, seeing that we have Shea on this team. And really, the reality is that Shea was one of those pieces that Sam was able to get added on. Think about Shea with the Clippers right now.
Don't think about it, bro.
But that's what I'm saying, is that this is why Sam is so amazing, is because he
sitting there thinking about it.
But I'm saying, like, think about this.
He's like,
said,
why did we include
I'm
Shea?
I'm not trading PG-13 to you guys unless you add Shea. Period. After all those draft picks. And to me, that's what is so crazy.
I don't think Sam Presti walks away from all of those picks. I think he takes it. If the Clippers say Shea is a no-go, automatic no-go. But I don't know.
I think Sam Presti called their bluff, bro.
Yeah, they wanted him.
I think they wanted PG-13 and Kawhi so bad that they were willing to do whatever it took. And guess what happened? It lost them a top 20 player in the NBA.
Dude, I cut you off, John, so I'll let you say something. Then we got a couple of like non-Thunder things to run over real quick. What you got, John?
No, I was just gonna say that. I mean, they had to. Look at the NBA now. They couldn't pass up an opportunity to get two of your top players if they needed to win now, and that's what they needed. Like, that's the way the NBA goes now, and it's wild to me that it does. But I see why they did it. But Shea will have the ability to make them regret it for a few years still. So,
for sure, man. Well, I think the Clippers are going to regret it, but in the end, they're not going to admit regret until the point of, like, they reach the end of this Kawhi and Paul George experiment. Like, if I'm Steve Ballmer, like, honestly, I don't know why you're going, like, around traveling with the team. I get it. Like, this is your passion. This is your obsession. Good. Great. I mean, that's great, but this team it's a wreck. And like, you're heavily relying on Reggie Jackson, and I get it. He's not a bad player, but it was just a little while ago he was out of the league. But what would that team been like last night without Reggie Jackson? Like, the game would have been over probably in the second quarter. Like, he wasn't that great, but in the end, Like they are so thin on so many critical positions. Like they don't have depth. They've given away a number of players, and they're all going all in on this Clippers team. That all right, fine, congratulations, but let's. I'm jumping around, but all right. So
no, we're good.
Here's the thing, right? Did anybody see this thing about Mike Evans? The NFL, like some referees after the game, apparently, but we don't know for sure, right? Are seen asking, and I'm not going to play the video because it is what it looks like. Okay, the video, the refs yell his name. He turns around.
You can just see it in that.
They hand him something. This guy opens it up and says right there. So I don't know exactly what. Okay, but I'll say this. The NFL has now come out and said they were not seeking autographs. Because that would be wrong, I guess. Everybody knows that. What have they said? I don't know. They said it was something else.
Mike Evans to be quiet? Shut up, Mike. Don't say anything.
Look, they basically said they weren't seeking autographs. Wow. So I'm thinking maybe it's a get well soon card to another official. But they won't say anything about what it is. So they're just saying it wasn't an autograph.
That would be awesome if they were asking some of the players from each of the team to sign a get well, card for one of the refs. I mean, that would be really cool.
But dude, I'm just making something up. We know it's an autograph, don't we?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, you know how golfers have to sign a card after the game?
It looked like that.
Them?
Yeah.
I wonder if it was like that. Like, hey, you're one of the captains. Sign it. We can't get Tom to do it.
I thought.
Is there like some rule we don't know about in football? You were two below par. Here you go.
Is it wrong for a ref to pull out his titties and ask him to sign them?
What is it wrong? What if Madonna did it?
Oh! We got something from Madonna, bro.
What is up with this, bro?
Pull that shit up.
It says Twitter, Madonna, one more skill, and I'm like, dude, honestly, if you said one more skill Madonna has, I would not click on this, dude. In general, I have no interest in this.
I've never seen somebody do this with a bottle before. It's worth it.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh! Get it, Madonna. That is a hell of a skill, Madonna. Right. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. Yes, Madonna.
Now we know what Dave was doing. And anybody who didn't see that, I will not describe it to you.
Magical moment.
Okay, so what else we got here?
Oh, dude, you want to see the look that the rest of the NFL is giving when they found out that Giselle is single? I'll show you. You don't even have to pull it up.
All right, good. Let's see it, dude. That's why you got Luke Kennard's picture on our shit, dude.
She's
what
single?
A turd, bro. What a turd, dude. Oh my god. Did he do that on purpose, or you think that he was? He had to do that on purpose.
I look at all these players while we're playing against them just because I know some guys have some crazy faces when they do it. You know, like Carmelo 1 year for Denver was insane. So I was like, we'll see what Luke looks like, and that face, man.
Luke has got to have the stupidest looking face to contract size that's possible. I mean, he has some ridiculously big contract with the Clippers, and they're like, he's really good at shooting threes. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I bet he shoots around 40% because that guy couldn't play in the NBA if he couldn't shoot threes. You know what I mean? But whatever, dude. What do you think about his face, John? Say something about his face. All right, anyway. Dude, this is what you were talking about earlier, bro. We got Tre Mann.
Yeah. Check out the shove, man.
It's dirty.
Bro, it was in the air.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's what I want to say
He's
right now.
laughing as he's doing it.
I know. Look at his face.
I'm going to blame this on Lendl. He should have had better balance. Okay, but here's the thing. First of all, second of all, here's what I want to say. Okay, Who is the foul on? It's on Draymond, right?
No, it's on Jordan Poole here.
Oh, they call it on Poole.
Does he hit him in the back of the head?
Yeah, he hits him in the back of the head after the ball.
So say it's not on Poole. Say Poole doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah.
What does the ref call in this situation?
Pushing on Draymond. It's got to be a flagrant. It's not basketball.
Well, here's the.
Look, he's laughing. He's laughing, man.
It's fucking hilarious, bro. He just took him out with his own player because the guy was boxing out too hard and didn't have his balance. Okay, look, I get why people think this is incredibly dirty, and I probably shouldn't be laughing because Cam Johnson. Look, I shouldn't be laughing at a dirty play, but he's getting racked by Cam, and Cam is in this situation. But here's my thing.
See he got racked.
But here's my thing, dude. Right? It's a strategic play because they can't actually call it a shooting foul. It's not a shooting foul.
Yeah, he got 2 free throws. Because look at the foul's on Poole.
Yeah, if it's on Poole, right? But Draymond's
see it
move
right there though. Pool's
I see it now, but
elbow.
I'm saying Draymond's move would only be a foul on Draymond on Lindell. They couldn't call the foul on Draymond on Cam, even though Cam is the one who missed the shot because Draymond's foul. I get that people are going to call it dirty, but what can I say? I've done it before. I've done the same exact fucking thing. It's like
but
I've done it too. But it's still a dirty play.
Okay, but we're sitting here judging the shit out of him, and we're like, oh yeah, we've done this shit.
I don't know.
I never, when somebody was up in the air, like I would say this, I never took anybody's legs out with it. But
look, he stands over him and looks down at him too. Like there's just,
but like I push people like when they're like
they both.
It's like a close out of balance play, and I push their player and it runs into them, or I push the player when they're like, like I'm setting a screen and I'll push the guy or whatever and he travels because of it. I do shit like that, but. Like somebody's up in the air and you throw somebody into them and take their legs out. Look,
you know what Jordan Poole's thinking? He's just glad that Draymond's not doing anything to him. He's like, yeah, dude, he's a real dick, isn't he?
Look at he's scared. If you look at Draymond Green, he has his slap hand up right now, and Jordan Poole's ducking out, bro.
Like, I'm not getting within striking distance of that guy.
He can't get near me.
Oh my god, dude. Holy cow! Did you ever see that video, bro?
Yeah, I watched it.
Good.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I guess it seems like people keep saying that used to happen. That happens in locker rooms and this, that, and the other. I don't know. I think there's got to be something to be said about it. But
man,
I don't make any decisions for the NBA, so
I want to make
decisions
for the NBA.
Commissioner for a day, bro. Make your call right now.
Oh,
whoa,
Jesus, that's a lot of pressure.
Bro. Are we doing like our perverted call for the day? Or are we doing like?
I thought we were talking about Draymond's punishment. What are we talking about?
We were. Dave just got distracted.
Yeah, you're like commissioner for the day, and I'm like, I
can't. As commissioner, I decree.
I feel like
we want strippers instead of dancers.
I knew what you were going to say. Everybody that's in entertainment must be topless.
Yeah, what Dave said. We'll just go with that.
No, but we're talking about Draymond.
Oh, okay.
What would you do if it was on you? Is it on the commissioner?
I feel like he's got to get a season suspended. Not the whole season, but I feel like he has to get a regular season, like not preseason games, but a regular season suspension. I don't know how many games. It probably doesn't have to be a lot in the end, but I don't feel like and maybe I'm playing too kind of towards the PC kind of world these days, but I think that it's important that the people keep perspective. This is a place of work. If this happened in any other place of work, the person would be fired, and if they didn't fire him and he did it again, that the company would then be held liable.
Liability, man.
So without doing some sort of suspension or serious punishment, I don't think the Warriors are doing what they are legally required to do in a situation like this. And on top of that, I think in a world of the anti-bullying attitude, which I'm all for, having kids of my own, it's really important. Like I just can't understand how a team leader, a position of authority on the team,
What did you say, Dave? I'm sorry, because John is talking about something serious, and he said something about these nuts, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Okay.
Anti-bully these nuts. That's what I said.
Yeah. Anyways, I just think that you got to look at the fact that he's who he is. He's not just another team player. He's not just another teammate. He gets in someone's face like that. The bottom line is Jordan Poole doesn't have a equal right to punch him, because if Jordan Poole punches him first there, it's a whole different situation. And that reality means that, you know, he's using his position of leadership on the team, his position of seniority on the team to push someone around. It's college hazing attitude. It's just not necessary. And I would expect us all to kind of be past that as far as allowing it to go unnoticed or untouched. But
it shouldn't be on Jordan Poole to have to say I want you guys to take this seriously. I want to press charges. Like, the team should have done that. I mean, and he's not doing
that's
that.
That's the power complex just continuing to play out, because he can't say something. If he says something, he might lose the biggest contract of his life. Now that he's got his bag, maybe he can say something, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's things in the contract about not discussing things that happened prior. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not idiots. They know how to make sure these guys don't talk. And he's a young guy. Like, why would he? He's got a chance to get a few rings on the way to a position where maybe he can actually become a leader in this team and take over the organization. Like, as far as career moves, he has to keep his mouth shut. It's the same reason in a job when you're getting bullied or harassed or any of the things that can happen by someone of authority. Like, it can't be allowed. It can't be tolerated. So it's kind of strange to me that everybody's first reaction was who exposed this, because, I mean, sure, we can talk about who tattled, but in the end, tattling's tattling. The other one, that's called assault. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But hey,
Man. Well,
I would say this. I thought that the guy that sold the video to TMZ was probably the one who was going to make the most off of this, but it turns out Jordan Poole made sure he got his bag built up, 20 mil extra.
maybe it was Jordan Poole that released the video then.
Right.
Good pressure.
Negotiating tactics, man. Well, if he did, then he made like $1.5 million plus. Dude, I don't know what you said. I was talking about $1.5 million plus $1.5 million plus 20. I'm gonna say he wasn't worth 100, but they were gonna give it to him anyway. But I don't know, dude. Anyway, who cares? Here's what I'll say about Tre Mann. Let's punt him into the next decade.
Get that shit over with.
Agreed.
Dude, I gotta say before we wrap up here, because we've got to wrap up, but thank you, John, for joining us, man. We haven't talked to you in a while, so thank you for being part of this conversation. We fucking love you, man. We appreciate all the downloads from Ireland that you give us. So we appreciate that shit.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, dude, and let's make sure it's not as long between visits, man. Let's make this shit happen again soon.
We'll have to do it again soon. The season's back. Man. Like, I'm pretty pumped. So
good.
I'm gonna go see if I can actually watch this game here in a bit. So.
Yes.
So here's the crazy thing: is we scheduled this date before we got the win. So I'm hoping that we get a win before then. But if we're looking for wins, we're gonna be on the phone with you, man. Right
and
away.
If we're dry out, we're calling you.
And we're dry
sounds like a plan, guys.
We need some lube.
Hey, man. Thanks for joining us. We will see you guys on Friday.
All right.